Okay. Hello again. Apparently, a lot of people like me so far. I really want to thank you guys because I've gotten over 100 subscribers now. Um, and it seems like I'm getting more and more. So I guess you guys like something about me. Uh, I wanted to do something a little more spooky since it's October as of recording of this video. Um, I have a book, a collection of Edgar Allan Poe's stories and poems. And I might do some of his longer stories in a future video, but I wanted to start off small with something that everybody knows, or most people know. The Raven, you know, and see if you guys like reading ASMR along with like the normal trigger videos and stuff. And if I get more comfortable with like looking at the camera or like being more coherent with the things I'm saying, maybe I can do more of like roleplay videos and not just be like pigeonholed into just doing like sound assortments, because like those are fun, but I want to do like storytelling, I guess. So I guess in like the near future I'm gonna do a role play and do like a couple readings from books like this. I also have a book that has a collection of short, scary stories and spooky ghost stories and stuff. I think that would be fun to do, and just make the best of the spooky season, and maybe like just plan these videos out a bit better and see if I find a format that I like, or format that you guys like. Maybe we can meet in the middle. But again, I want to thank you for tuning in, and without further ado, I would like to read you The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I keep bumping the mic. Here, let me stand back a little bit. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. For the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was broken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon I heard again a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely, that it is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he. Not an instant stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvel this ungainly vow, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door. Bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore. To the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, and bust and door, then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, gainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight glowed o'er. But those velvet violet lining with the lamplight glowing o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls twinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretched," I cried, "that God hath lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee, respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempered sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, up starting. "Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flirting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. I really like the way that that Edgar Allan Poe writes his poems and his stories. Apparently, he was actually like a really sweet person, but he would try and process his grief and his negative emotions through his writing. So he would use it as like a form of therapy, as well as a form of trying to make an income with creativity. And apparently he was actually like a really loving husband to his wife, who unfortunately was also his cousin, but I guess it's just a product of the time. You know, like they didn't know any better, but he apparently was like a very loving man and a very kind man. And I do like the way that he writes and how he does his best to try and get you to feel the same way that he does, or the way that the protagonist feels. It's like he's able to say so much in so little time, because he doesn't seem to write like extremely long stories, but he's able to convey stories that have stood the test of time because he writes them in a specific way. And I really enjoy his kind of writing. It's just kind of sad that he's only known for like his darker tales, because apparently he does have some pleasant writing that isn't all doom and gloom. Like, he's not some emo icon, I guess you could say. He's also like just a very kind person, I guess. And he does have a couple stories in there and a couple poems that are lighthearted and happy. Literally, there's a section in the book about like different poems, and it's like there's a chunk of the poems that are dedicated to like different stages of manhood and how he processes going through life, like being a husband and being a widower, and he shows like both his love and joy in his marriage and then his sorrow for being a widower. It's like you can feel his heart in what he writes. And I really liked reading stories where
where the artist allows you to get a glimpse into their mind and their heart, but they still uphold virtue in a way. Like his story, like he isn't stuck in just being like people remember him for his horrors and whatnot, but I think it's important to remember that just because like you can like creepy things or you aren't afraid to face your grief and your sorrows and your pain, doesn't mean that you're always melancholic or over dramatic. And like I find myself sometimes like looking at negative things not because I want to be negative, but because I want to face the dragon, as it were. And like there's a reason why you're afraid of certain things and why you're sad about certain things. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be scared. And I think one of the reasons why I like watching scary movies is because I try to figure out how would I survive? What would I do right? And I think like this poem in particular wasn't really like an enemy he could truly face, you know. It was more just like a conversation he was having with death, I suppose, and trying to come to terms with it, processing it. And sometimes you just gotta do that, you know. We can't, like, he said that he wanted to go to bed, but he stayed up all night wrestling with his grief in the form of this raven. And at least like the protagonist did. I don't know if like he wrote it as like a literal metaphor for him, but I don't know. It's a spooky story, but it's also like sad. But it's okay to be sad sometimes, because then you better appreciate what you have. Because literally, I think like the next poem they have written down after the Raven is, it's called The Bells or something, and I think it's about a wedding or Christmas. I think it's about Christmas, because I think that he was a Christian. I don't know what denomination he was, but apparently he was like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he was like a devout Christian, and he was also like just a very loving husband. And I don't know. I think it's a shame that there are a lot of artists that die unrecognized for their art, and then someone else profits off of them after they're gone. I don't think that's really fair. But, you know, at the very least, we can appreciate them after they're gone. And maybe I'll read something a little more happy by him another time when it's not spooky season, you know. I also have other books that are made by American poets, and it'd be nice to take a look at them, because I think that there were a lot of them that I never read in school, and it would be nice to take a look at them and see how American poets progressed throughout our early history, I guess. But kind of rambling at this point, but I enjoy spooky stories, and I hope you do too. And again, I want to thank you for being here with me and spending time with me. It's fun. I like it. And if you like me reading to you and telling you stories and stuff, let me know. And if there are any other classical stories you'd like me to read, I can try my best. I think that's all for me for now. And I'll try and get some more made. Maybe I'll go through like the more famous spooky stories like Telltale Heart and Red Mask and Pit in the Pendulum and stuff like that. I think there's also a bunch of other ones that aren't as well known. But we'll see. And maybe just take a look at random scary stories, you know. Anyway, it's getting late. I think some of you are already asleep, and if you are, thank you for watching. Sleep well, and God bless.